Lesson number 32 and the second lesson on the addition. We are learning JavaScript and we are learning JavaScript by examples. In this series, we are trying to recreate this application which is available on this website. It is an addition practice application for young children. We have a number, we have two numbers, and we have an addition symbol and an input field, and the students are supposed to type in an answer, and when they press enter they have a response whether the answer is right or wrong, and if the answer is right they get a tick symbol, and if the answer is wrong they get a cross symbol. So this is what we have done so far. We have created just one example of these questions, and there are two numbers in it as in this application, and there is an addition symbol and there is an input field. However, when I type in an answer, nothing happens because we haven't added that functionality to the script as yet. So let's do it now. So I'll change the size of the browser, and this is the HTML document that we created in our last lesson. This is the exact copy of this one for today's lesson. I will right mouse click and I will open it with my text editor. This is the code that we have written so far. To be able to check whether the answer that has been provided by the user is right or wrong, we have to know what is happening in this field. We have to know what keys have been pressed. So this input field has been created here with the help of this line of code. This is an input element that has been created with the help of JavaScript rather than by HTML directly, and this field is saved in this variable. So we have to add an event listener to this input field. We want to know what is happening, what has been typed in by the user. So I will copy this and I will paste it here, and I will say add event listener. This is a built-in method which now has been added to this input field only. So whatever happens in this input field, we want to capture that as a variable. So this method takes two parameters. So one that I want to use is key press. So I want to capture everything that happens on a key press when a user presses the key within this input field. And the second parameter it takes is an anonymous function, and the usual structure of a function is that you write the keyword function and then two brackets and an opening curly bracket and a closing curly bracket, and then you do whatever you want to do within these two brackets. This method also needs an argument, and you can use any word, and traditionally programmers use the word e. This is a variable that will hold any information about the key that has been pressed. So whatever key has been pressed, this variable will save all the information about that key as an object. So it's creating an object that will have all the information about the key that has been pressed. So if I say console.log and I copy and paste this variable here, you can use any variable here, save it, and I will just type in, if I refresh it and press F12, and if I type in a number, that number has been saved as a variable, and the name of the variable is E. And if I click on this arrow, these are the properties of this variable, of this number. We can see that the number 7 has been pressed. Char code of this key is 55, which is unique to this number only. The key that has been pressed, this is the property of the object, and this is the value of that property. So we can use this information to find out what's happening. So I pressed 7 and I will now press enter. So another piece of information has been saved in the computer's memory, and it knows that we have pressed the key enter. If I click on this arrow, we know that there are some properties of this object. The key that we pressed is enter. The char code of the key is 13, and the which property is 13, and the key code is also 13. Some of the information provided in this area is unique to this key, the enter key, and we can use this any of these unique informations to modify our code. Okay, so I will close this and I will change the size of the window, and I will remove this, and I will say if, and the usual format of the if condition is this: two brackets and an opening curly bracket and a closing curly bracket, and within this bracket I will say if e key code, okay, is equal to 13. If you remember, when we pressed enter, the key code value of this key is 13, and I can actually use any of the properties. I can say char code, for example. Okay, I can say e dot which. So this is the object which refers to this key that has been pressed, and I am trying to find out if the key that was pressed is the enter key. Okay, I can also say code enter, just code enter, and it will do the same thing. So char code 13 belongs to the key enter, belongs to enter key on the keyboard. Okay, and I can also use, traditionally programmers use key code, and I will also say ampersand sign, which means and result copy and paste dot value is equal to 7. So 3 plus 4 is 7. What I'm saying, if the key that has been pressed is enter and the value that has been typed in by the user is 7, then I will check my code. I will say alert good job. So let's test our script so far. I will refresh it. I'll type in an answer and I will press enter, and I get a response that says good job. Okay, now I also want to say else. Okay, so let me tell you one more thing. So when I press when I type in a correct answer and I press enter, I get this response. If I type in a wrong answer, I don't get any response, and I want to fix that as well. So I will say else. Okay, and if condition, again, the usual format of if condition is if, the keyword if, opening and closing brackets and opening and closing curly bracket, and I will say, I will copy and I will paste it here, and this time I will say if the value is not equal to. Okay, so in this case I'm saying I want two conditions to be true. The key code has to be 13. It means that the key pressed has to be the enter key, and the result dot value, the value that has been typed in by the user, is equal to 7. And then create an alert that should say good job. Else, if the key that has been pressed is enter key and the result dot value, the answer that has been provided by the user, is not equal to 7, then alert, not cool. Okay, so let's test this again. If I save it, refresh it, type in an answer, I get a good job as an alert, and when I type a wrong answer, I get not cool. Okay, so that is it for this lesson, and we will add in a tick symbol or a cross symbol in our next lesson. Thank you very much. I hope you learned something today, and I'll see you in the next lesson.